done. New business. Item A, consider dual office holding by Director Kellogg, of Director of Paradise Irrigation District and Director at Butte County Resource Conservation District, which I'm going to refer to as RCD for the rest of the evening, and consistency with doctrine of incompatibility of offices. Might be appropriate unless, Bill, you'd like to make a statement right off. Like to do something?
Yeah. I think everybody here has a copy of this. So I would like to thank you, all of my supporters here tonight, as well as those in the community who are unable to attend tonight. This meeting is being called concerning my seat on two boards, PID and Butte County Resource Conservation District, which has an advisory capacity only. Prior to my appointment, Supervisor Doug Teeter checked with the County Council regarding the compatibility of the districts. They were found to be compatible at that time. Before my appointment, these districts are compatible. On the proposed contract between PID and Butte County Resource Conservation District, the contract was proposed by the PID managers was done without the prior consent or approval of his board of directors. The only way this contract came to my attention is when it appeared in the Butte County Resource Conservation District agenda at the PID's manager's request. Please see the copy of the agenda on the back side of this. The agenda item that was given to the Butte County Resource Conservation District. The initial contact started by telephone back in February 11th of this year. My George Cohen, the Butte County Resource Conservation District manager. Had this been brought before this board, we could have discussed how we now have the experience and staff on our board to supervise the registered professional foresters, thereby saving PID money and using assets already at our disposal. We have no need to contract with Butte County Resource Conservation District at this time. This attempt to remove me has already resulted in unnecessary spending of the community's money. If this effort to remove me is rewarded the community that I was elected to represent, whose valuable servants' goals are transparency, improved working conditions, improved service to our customers, and to ensure that our long-term investment in drought protection makes sense. All the PID members are here to serve the community. I want to keep my job serving the people of Paradise. How you vote and speak clearly to the community to who is in charge of their district. I am proud of my service as a PID board member. These offices are compatible. Now, if you have any questions, either from the board or the audience, I'll be glad to try to answer.
Anybody from the public? Records?
No, I think we should.
I would like to hear from our legal counsel.
You want me to kind of set the stage a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. Well, as a preliminary matter, I've written a letter for the board's consideration outlining my opinion. At this point in time, it's privileged and confidential. The board, at its option, if 3 or more directors agree, can waive that privilege and release it to the public. And I have no objection if the board wants to do that. But the reason we're here today is there's a doctrine that's been around in California for over 100 years. It's called the doctrine of incompatibility of office. And
yeah, I don't care which way it goes, as long as we're doing what's best for the district.
I'd like to go back to how it all came about and get a comment from Supervisor Teeter, because we have another law firm that I've worked with in the past, like I have with Dustin and this sort of thing. I think it would be good to have Supervisor Teeter, because he was the one that appointed Bill, and get some logic there.
Yeah, I think that's also good, because I understand that we had communication with Doug and with the county lawyer, the county council.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, I was just asking you that, so Doug, if you would like to
Let's go over here.
weigh in.
Well, one thing that I remember was when Bill went on there as an advisor, we said, no problem, if you don't vote.
That's
But we said that there could be a problem if you started to vote, and then all of us just voted, which surprised me.
Chairman, directors, appreciate the opportunity to come here. You know, a lot of people have been saying what I've said, so I wanted to come in person and tell you directly. Yes, this was a concern of mine when Bill approached me, because he was really interested in the RCD. He served on the Soil Conservation District and also on the RCD before, but not in the same capacity. The thing that I guess allowed me to appoint him was, I went to county council and I said, hey, do you see a problem with this? And he did not. You know, there's obviously difference of opinions, and the only way to go and find out the truth is to complete the action. But I think when you think of the law and the significant clash of duties, that's really the only one I think that applies here. And when you look at the general powers of the RCD district, everything's may. They may do this, they may do that. When you look at the Attorney General opinions that are published, it's about a supervisor on a water district board where they have to interact. There's a required interaction. With the RCD, it's all may. They only can interact with another agency or a private landowner with their consent. So it's not like they have the power to force someone to do something, such as the supervisors can do, or your board with condemnation. Also in the code, lands included within the sphere of the RCD shall be general value for agriculture. Other lands, such as PID's lands, may be included. So I think there's just so many mays in their power that what's in the Attorney General's opinions isn't relevant to the case at hand. So this would be, to me, completely new. The other thing, no fee from the RCD shall exceed the cost reasonably borne by the district in providing the service. They're a nonprofit. So Bill can't try to, as an RCD member, go, I want to make a profit on this PID. So that conflict of profiting isn't there. The other thing, 9408B, the last sentence, it is the intent of the legislature to encourage districts to facilitate cooperation among agencies of government to address resource issues of local concern. I think if I was on your board, I would really think it's great that one of your directors is on the RCD. Even though the statutes are silent on whether it is a compatible office, I think if they relooked at this, they could find it that way, because there isn't this required interaction that the Attorney General has opined on. I mean, I'm sorry it causes trouble, but you know, I went on what my counsel, or my board's counsel, he's not my counsel, his recommendation. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate that.
Speaking up, I'm sitting here listening, but on this compatibility, incompatibility, on this particular issue, I really don't feel that there is an incompatibility, and I've done a little work in the past with, not the one here in Butte County, over in Glenn County, because Butte County just passed and accepted this not too many years ago, and it was the old Soil Conservation Corps. Glenn County has had one functioning for years, and I always wanted Butte County to do it when my family was a larger landowner, because of the fact that we could do a lot of things that you're unable to do if you don't have that resource. So I really think, throw incompatibility out the door, and I realize we can't do that. These two groups, our board here, and the resources that the Conservation District has, as Supervisor Chitty so well put, working together, we can enhance each other. Because they can only charge anyone, including landowners. And that was the way that I had it before, what it costs to do the business. So you don't get into a negotiating situation and one person get a lot of money over the other. They just don't do that, you know. So you bring that into it. But I've also served, in fact, I just stepped down off of the Butte County Fair Board, it's not because I'm on this fair board, other than for the time commitment. And I've been on several other areas where we've used the general, Attorney General and the County Council, and where the County Council gave us an opinion, that was the opinion we went by. We went by that. And I've never seen it struck down, it's just an opinion. That's it, okay.
Did he put it in writing? Did he put it in writing?
I know some things that we've had on the Fair Board, at Butte County Fair Board, he put it in writing. We've had a couple of ADA issues, and he was our attorney, we had to use him, whether we wanted it or not. And that was in writing, but I don't know about everything. But it was a verbal appointment because attorneys, I work for attorneys on some different cases for expert witnesses, and they don't lie, do you? They don't wind up here looking at a bunch of nice people like us, and they'll wind up in jail. Is that not correct, Dustin?
An officer of the court.
He's officer of the court, and his bar would be shut, and attorneys love to do that to each other. If one finds the other one lying. Is that not correct? Okay, now, so, with Supervisor Cheater, he's new to the position as I'm new to this one. I would have taken county council advice and I wouldn't have questioned it. Because that's the way it's always been at this particular point. I'm gonna repeat that again. We do not see a significant risk of the district maintaining the status quo. It is possible almost without remote. Is that right?
Albeit.
Albeit, yes, but that means without remote, almost no remote. It's a remote chance.
Very
Small chance.
It's a small chance.
Yeah, I wouldn't guarantee that there's no risk, but
Yeah, but it's a very small chance. That a person aggrieved by the decision of the PID board could raise the validity of Director Kellogg's position as a setting director. Right? Okay. And then down here, we leave such action would ultimately be without merit, if we went back up here a moment, so that's 75. So in other words, you think that we could do nothing. George would still be doing his job, and the board would be, okay.
well, no, I can't guarantee that.
No, I know what you're saying.
If we're assigning probabilities, you know,
Probabilities, yes.
I think you're probably okay, but
Okay, probably.
Bill? You know what's your name?
Whoever would like to-
Oh, you can use my name.
I just
I
want
was
to
the one
say
that
that,
said I'd like to have a file.
are you starting a big hubbub that's gonna cost money over something that was innocently done by Seth and by Phil? And,
I did nothing in this instance.
and some, well, but see, George didn't catch your goof up. And they were goof up.
She's going back to you.
And so, you know, do you really wanna spend money over something that's probably, it's never happened before? Now that we know all the rules, it ain't never gonna happen again. Federal
That
justice
doesn't
is
stop
gonna keep it
somebody.
straightened out.
But see, Loretta, it doesn't have to be a goof up. They weren't goof up, it's just the way the law is written. That's why I don't like lawyers.
But you see, that same law, Seth kind of violated recently. And that was
No, this is
just
a
kind of
totally- this is a
excused.
totally different thing.
There was no report made on that one to us, and so,
on Seb's matter.
yeah. And so, see,
It was
you
quite an
gotta be
extensive
fair.
report made on that
Why,
issue.
why didn't George catch, why didn't you talk to George or George catch you? Why did George only catch
We
Bill?
actually did have
See,
conversations.
we have to be fair, and I don't think you did anything wrong or terrible or rotten. I don't think Bill did. But do you wanna spend all this money chasing? See, it is ridiculous,
If one
guys.
person
So
is
now-
mad at us
Oh,
because of
Larry.
Bill's vote,
Larry, that
It's gonna
person
cost
is
us a lot.
mad at you, because you cheated that old man, you know.
Mr. President,
by the way, I won that.
Loretta's I'm gonna put words in your mouth.
Thank you.
She, I think, the way I interpreted it, presented another option, which is, Bill, you could resign from the RCD. And I know that's not what you want to do, but, well, let me give you the law school answer. The law school answer is if it's an incompatibility, you automatically forfeit. So it doesn't matter if you vacate or resign from the later office. Forfeit PID. That's the law school answer. The practical answer is if you were to resign from the RCD, nobody's gonna pursue it. I mean, you'd be laughed out of court. The Attorney General would slam the door in my face. So I mean, it's just an idea.
In other words, if I hear it right, with words of Loretta's, if he resigns from the RCD and restays on this board, the Attorney General or anybody else that wanted to take it to task would laugh at us and slam the door.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
Okay.
And I'd be the first one to say, guys, that's a waste of money. Why are we pursuing this?
In other
We
words,
solved the problem.
you would say board, Director Kellogg's seat on the board would be 5, in your opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion. I mean, I've given you the law school answer though.
I'll also not for this.
So if there's some young buck straight out of law school that wants to pursue that for whatever reason, I guess they could.
We'll
But-
twist his or her tail
Yeah, they,
anytime.
and they do
Yes.
that. They do that.
We'll stick Loretta on it.
What happens to the fact that Bill's seat was theoretically vacated when he took the position on RCD? Even though he gave up RCD, the rule clearly states the opposite direction, that the previous board was what?
That's what I say, that's the law school answer. That's the academic law school answer.
Okay.
But the practical answer is,
Who would
who
pursue
would
it?
ever pursue that? Yep, that's likely.
So this solves the problem.
I think it does.
We all understand correctly, this solves the problem.
Okay, under this circumstances, I will resign my board position at Lee County Resource Conservation District. And I'll send an email tomorrow to that effect. And that should take care of the problem. I remain on PID.
Can you go